Hi, Dad. Welcome back to another episode of Dave and Andy's Honest About Life. How you doing?
I'm doing well, Andy. Thanks for having me again. This is
Uh,
fun.
It is fun. It's wonderful to have this time with you. You know, I I think that especially as we just come out of Easter, and you think about families that were together or families that are doing Zoom like this. Are they thinking about the significance of that time together? Are they thinking about capturing these videos on Zoom? I'm not sure if they record. Probably not, right? Most are not recording the conversations that we're having with family. But it makes you think about anyway the precious little time that we have together, and creating this sort of thing. You hope that people are thinking about that.
Yeah, absolutely. I would think that they do think about that because most families in the beginning they're all together, and then as the family gets older, they scatter. And I know that I felt that a lot. With my family, with my brothers and sisters, um, and I've seen it in my family. 7 kids scatter with time, and it's hard to get us all together again. So yeah, those times I hope people do record, because it is fun to look back and say, oh yeah, this is what it was like a year ago or 2 years ago. Those are good. Those memories are good.
It is, and we take it for granted this time that together we've talked about in past episodes where, it's just so easy for us to take for granted, something that's happening right this moment. And rather than, really appreciate the significance of it. And in this case, capture it in case you want to come back. Because at some point, we won't be, um, sort of, so with it that we can have a conversation and even remember, right,
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
much
What
of
was
our
your name
past.
again? What was your name again?
It's so much detail. Exactly. No, I
Yeah.
I get it. You got a lot of kids, Dad. I get it. You're
Yeah. I still get a kick out of when I get 3 or 4 of them in the room. I'll go through all their names before I hit the right one. It's funny. I,
nice.
I remembered my mom and dad doing that, and I thought, boy, I'm never going to do that. Well, now it's happening all the time.
Do you think do you think that do you think we've crammed so much into our heads that we just don't have room for new stuff? Or is it what is it that why do our brains get older? Why do we, forget? What is it? Is it plaque that's being left behind and affecting our memory? What is it? You
I
know?
I don't know if you come up with the answer, you might be a rich man.
I think
But I
there's
think I think a lot of my memories go into a vault, and that door gets locked. As soon as that
an
door goes shut, it's locked, and I can't get them back out. So that's why I like recordings, because then you can have your memories because
yeah,
they're locked up
you know,
somewhere in the back of my brain.
exactly. They talk about musicians who they might have Alzheimer's or dementia, some form of dementia, where as soon as they start listening to their music, or if someone puts an instrument that they played in front of them, they could pick it up and they could play it, or a piano, put them at a piano, and even though they don't seem all that with it, most of the time, and then all of a sudden things become much more clear when they're doing something they did well, they loved. And I wonder if this kind of thing, if can you put this video in front of your older parents, and if this will bring it back, or will you recognize yourself? You see what I'm
That's
saying?
I do, and I think that's an interesting study. There probably has been a study done similar to that, where memories will bring back memories. If your recorded memories will bring back memories, and I think that would be an interesting thing to look at, because I've seen it happen. The memories on Facebook, they have memories that pop up a year later or 5 years later. I think those are really good, because it does bring you back and opens up your mind a little bit.
You know, Speaking of that, I've seen some, whether it be on LinkedIn or Facebook, uh, memories that have popped up of people that have passed away. And I don't know if there's a way, if that's intentional, or if there's a way for a family member to, maybe they would choose not to, but to delete uh, an account of a family member who's passed away, like Judge James Campbell, a former judge in St. Paul. friend of mine, he passed away a handful of years ago, but uh, every year I get a prompt from LinkedIn about his birthday, and so I assume his entire profile is still up there. And if it's managed by a password, maybe I don't know how you get that down.
I don't know that, I don't know that you have to. I don't know that you'd want to. I think, yeah, we know he's passed, but to bring back his memory and this is his birthday. I don't think there's a lot horrible with that. It wouldn't bother me if my image comes up well after I'm dead. At least maybe you'll think about me.
That's true. And that's part of it too, right? I mean, yeah, I'm sure there's a handful of folks out there that would prefer not to be thought of, but because they worry about the legacy they left behind. But I think for the vast majority of us, we would want to be remembered.
Yeah,
in
I believe that's true.
Do you, seeing as we're on this topic, do you think about, well, actually, I know that in a previous session, I prompted the idea of artificial intelligence and AI. It's really a huge topic of conversation. Not sure how closely you're paying attention to that. Uh, are you concerned? Because so AI is one of those things where it could play a major role in the way that we remember things, the way that we experience things, the way that we see things. It could play a major role in keeping, family members who have passed away, keeping them alive in some weird respect. I think you could follow me there, like animate them, right? Do you worry about all this AI stuff that's going on?
I do. I think it's getting to that point where, maybe this is the sci-fi coming out in my brain, but it's getting to the point where the programs themselves, these AI programs, could actually start to change their direction, and they could influence what they do next. So they make the decisions, and those decisions get honed in on and get better with time. So AI is actually could get to the point, I'm almost positive it will get to the point where it's running on its own. And that scares me.
Well, I think it should too. You think about war, you think about weapons, deploying weapons, these AI tools, like you said, sort of finding access, because there's going to be some bad players in there, right? That are just going to set it loose and go figure out some codes, go imitate a bad actor. It's going to happen. And I wonder, those who have control of that technology or have control of some of these really scary, dangerous things, if they're thinking about how to protect us from it.
I think they are. I would think that they would, because they're actually protecting themselves too. These creators of this would almost have to put a failsafe in there just to protect themselves. And we know how powerful this AI is becoming. And there's so many movies that are out that are very scary, where the AI is actually the group that's fighting wars against us, and they're better than we are, because they have learned, and a computer can learn and process a lot more information than humans can. And it's unfortunate, because we're using a very small portion of our brain. And it would be interesting someday if somebody figures out a way to use more of our brain.
No, I agree. You think about, there's some things that we could process quickly that at some point some of these machines will catch up, right? There's some things that we naturally do very well, but I think to your point about historically, we can only keep so much in our brains, but historically, how did this tactic work? So in terms of how to fight a war, we can remember what we can remember, but there's a lot more data out there, so they might be more effective, these tools. So
Yeah.
we can talk about that I'm sure there's going to be a lot of conversation about that. And it really is a significant time, in my opinion.
I agree. I think this is a really scary and real significant time. I think, you know, a lot of changes are going to be happening here over the next months and years, and not even years. I mean, the changes, you are probably amazed as I am, how fast things are moving now. It's much more quickly things are advancing. You know, it used to take months for design work, and now they get computers to design things much faster. So they progress and they get better much more quickly.
How do you imagine AI is going to change weather forecasting? Do you think that it will be better than someone like yourself? And do you think it will replace meteorologists at some point?
Oh, I totally believe that that's going to happen, because of the capacity that a computer has over humans. You know, I can say, yeah, I remember 20 years ago when this storm looked like this. Well, an AI could figure out exactly what that storm did and exactly if, you know, what the parameters are that are coming together to make that storm happen again. You know what I mean?
I do.
We can look at it and say, yeah, I remember that. But then really, if we look back at the data that an AI could, it would say, no, you're way off, you know? So yeah, but I think AI is definitely going to be a better source for the weather, which has infinite number of variables in it. And that's why the human mind can't even imagine some of the variables that are out there.
Well, let's keep an eye on that. Let's keep talking about it. It is going to be really interesting, you know, and again, these are helpful applications of artificial intelligence, which I think we could all we could agree that that is really where we should go with this. So this other sort of negative stuff that we've been talking about the scary stuff, we obviously have to address that as well. So,
Yep.
Dad, let's end this session. Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts with us, and can't wait to see you next time.
Love you, pal. Take it easy.